Hey everyone, welcome to the IATC Exchange Zone. We're really glad that you're joining us tonight here on September 21st as we are approaching the halfway point and excited to recap what was a monster week with some massive meets across the state in the Midwest. We'll take a look at those and also plenty of other action to go over. Kyle Wagner is on the sideline injured tonight, rehabbing a minor foot operation. Kyle, welcome.
How we doing today, Dewey?
We're doing good. We had some panic here 4 minutes before showtime. All of our microphones went silent here in the studio. So Brock and I were scrambling around and luckily we got it to work. But I'm using your microphone actually, so it's a good thing you're at home.
Some might say that. I think my wife wants me out of the house, but
Well, we're excited to get you back next week and get you back in the studio. Brock, thanks for shoring this up. And if the audio goes out, we now know there is a more problem than just one microphone. So hopefully everything goes well tonight. Cross your fingers. Schedule for tonight is a good one. We're going to have a little interactive quick chat tonight, and I'm excited to introduce those questions here in a second. Monster recap, and you talking about two of the largest meets, not only in Iowa, but the Midwest, took place this past Saturday. The Griak Invitational in Minnesota at the University of Minnesota and the Heartland Classic at Central College. Those two meets, plus loads of other quick hits and other meets around the state. We'll take a recap and a trip around the state to look back at those. Then, with some other segments, we're going to introduce the 2026 recruiting rankings for the class of 2026. And this is going to be, I think there'll be some debate maybe. Hopefully we didn't make any mistakes, but and we'll talk about it when we get there, but cross country, track and field, the total distance runner for this class of seniors, and it is a loaded and deep class of seniors. And then we'll take a look at the upcoming week across the state. As always, if you would, we would appreciate if you would like our podcast and now TV show, live stream, whatever you want to call it, on all of these major platforms. We have grown our Instagram followers, Kyle, by 331 followers since the start of the season. How about that?
Sounds like we need to do like a apparel giveaway or something.
We do. Maybe show them your shirt.
The IATC
There you go.
sweatshirt.
Maybe we could throw some of those out. But really appreciative of that. And as always, when we push something out on our social media, the more likes, the more shares, the more the word gets out. And, we get so much feedback every week, but there's also every week I'm at a meet or out and about, there is someone who says, "Oh, I didn't know we had a podcast for cross country." I'm sure that happens with you, Kyle. So there's still a lot of people out there that don't know about the Exchange Zone. So help us spread the word. All right, let's get to the interactive chat questions. And we'd like you to just comment in the chat. So on YouTube, and I'm going to be entering the chat now. We have two questions. I'm going to introduce the first one. Kyle's got the second one, and then we'll just have an open-end discussion for a while as comments come in. The first one, how do you think the ranking should be configured comparing teams that travel out of state or go to large competitions versus teams that stick with small local meets?
It's a good first question.
So, you want to do the second question too?
Yep. The second one's pretty simple. Just what ideas do you have to help us continue to grow the show? So, segment ideas. A lot of these are Dewey's ideas. I get them on Sunday, and I'm like, man, this guy's creative. So, you guys are the listeners are the reason we do this, and the ideas that you have will help us grow this thing. So we appreciate any ideas that you have to send our way, please.
All right, we'll let those chat responses heat up there in the chat room. It's a little quiet right now. Quentin's logged in. Alex Wolf is logged in. But let's start the topic there with the one in the yellow. And this is this is something that's come up the last couple weeks in some emails I've gotten from coaches. And I think it's a reasonable debate. And we're not going to spend the whole night debating this, but how do you handle those teams who are running those big meets that maybe get 8th to 12th place in some large meets? Maybe it's a small school running against large schools, and instead of winning their local meet, they go and challenge themselves at a more difficult meet, but they get beat by, 8 or 10 larger schools, compared to those teams that maybe just stick at those smaller meets and go undefeated, or they get first or second every time. How should the rankings committee judge that? Kyle, I think it's difficult.
It is. It's very difficult because a lot of teams have schedules set. They set schedules in the fall, so it's hard to make changes to those. It's hard to make change on the fly. Like, hey, next week we want to go to this meet, or I can say, Griak for us would be an extreme challenge to get our team up there. Or even like on a Saturday, when some of the bigger meets are like Cedar Falls or Cedar Rapids. One, it's hard because we have a ton of band kids and there's band competitions, especially late in the season on Saturday. We have a ton of soccer kids with soccer games on Saturdays. But to get to, say, Waverly or Cedar Falls, like the time that we would have to leave in the morning to get to some of these meets makes it difficult. But rankings wise, I do appreciate over the last couple of years, it's way better. And this isn't a shot at the past committees or anything, because they ranked exactly how the bylaws told them to, but I think our bylaws are better in that, one, it's a body of work, and you rank you rank, yes, off the week, but you also are ranking off the entire season. So you're not going to let one meet where you lose by 1 point to a team and you're missing your number 3 crazily impact your rankings like I think it used to. So it's hard, it's difficult for sure. I do think our crews do a great job balancing it. But I think what do you think on it?
Yeah, I agree, and I see some things in the chat here, some comments, who beats who, and how to rank them when teams don't rate each other, especially as Quentin said there, it's hard when the teams are going to these competitions, but then never see the people or teams that they're stacked up against. Out of state travel should be considered is a good comment there by Teresa. Madison says, I like the new Monday move. The graphics with using the school logos are cool. I also like having the guests on the show, and that's a good answer to the second one. I'm going to throw out 2 examples just in the 4A girls real quick. And I'm not picking on any team. I think it's reasonable discussion and dialogue. So number 4, Ankeny Centennial this past week. Very strong squad. Definitely a podium contender there in the girls 4A. They chose to go to Valley, West Des Moines, and basically have a duel. I think there was only 2 scoring teams, correct, at the Valley meet on Tuesday.
I think
And
that's right.
they had a wonderful performance, beat Valley. Valley later goes on and runs at Griak this weekend. However, number 3 DCG on Saturday was at Griak, and number 5 and number 6, City High and Northwest, were at Heartland. So that's one of those questions like, okay, Centennial had a duel, avoided the big meets where there was a chance they could lose, right? Especially at Griak. Should they move up or down or stay? Those are the types of debates we're looking at. To throw another one out there, Iowa City West on the girls' side, they had their best meet of the year at Ottumwa. They ran really well. However, it was primarily against 1A schools and 2A schools. While the team behind them in the rankings at number 20, Indianola, went to Heartland and got 8th place, but beat number 17, Ankeny, by 12 and scored hundreds of points. So those are the ones that are very difficult to judge. And that ongoing improvement that we're trying to work through as a rankings committee. Kyle, your team a week ago ran at Winterset, I believe, on Monday, could not get into Gilbert.
Hmm.
And then some of those teams that you had beaten previously had a better performance maybe at a bigger meet, while you still took care of business at a smaller meet. And then your team was docked, 6 or 7 places. So it's tough, very difficult, but healthy dialogue, and
Yep.
we're always trying to improve.
It is. And when you look at the teams on paper at some of those bigger meets like Cedar Falls or like uh the Valley meet, and you see Ankeny Centennial, Ankeny, like, oh, you're expecting their varsity, and okay, cool, their varsity is running at Griak or running at a different meet, so they're not going to run them. So when you declare for that meet, I guess 9 months in advance, it might be hard to know who's at them. And I don't want, I guess, just to clarify, I don't want to throw any shots at Gilbert. That's me. I would say a dumb young coaching mistake by me. I'm used to the college where you kind of can just go where you want. And 3 years ago, we opted to go to Winterset instead of going to Gilbert because we wanted to see the conference course. And I didn't, I guess, recognize that there was caps on some meets, and now we can't get into Gilbert. So I definitely don't want to take a stab at Gilbert for not letting us in there. But it's so now we do have smaller races, and you also kind of got to look at 4A split programs, but these smaller levels where it's same one program, a boys team and a girls team, and your girls team might be prepared for a bigger meet and your boys team might not. So tons of different factors with that too, and traveling and coaching sizes. But like you said, fun debate for this question for sure.
And thanks for everyone for your comments on how to continue to grow the show. Some really good comments there in the chat. We are looking to continue to add video, and I was hoping to get some inserted into the program tonight, but there's some formatting things with video that I still am working on to transfer over to our producer. So next week we're hoping to put some video into these live shows. So if you're at a meet and would like to take video, send it our way, and we're going to try and show some video clips throughout this show. And I think it might be easiest too if they're on Twitter. And that helps too, because then Brock can just show his Twitter over the live stream. All right. Thanks everyone for the quick chat, and I think we'll keep doing something like that as the season goes on. Kyle, we've got a new uniform up tonight. Tell
Yes,
us
we
about
do.
the Winterset Huskies.
Yes, thank you, Coach Trey Thompson of Winterset, for getting me that when we were at their home meet 2 weeks ago. But Winterset, I think most known for probably John Wayne, but now more recently, some cross country success. In the past 3 seasons, their boys have finished 5th and 6th, which is their highest finishes since 1962. And last year, their girls were 5th, which was their highest finish ever. So, Coach Thompson and assistant coach Michael Back have been there 4 years together, so they've had quite a bit of success just in their 4 years. On the girls' side, we know how good their top 4 is. All those 4 girls are all the top 4 people on their all-time 5K list, and the school record has been broken 4 times in the last 2 years on the 5K side for the girls. And then the boys, I'll give you a guess. Who's got the Winterset boys 5K school record at 15:30? Yes, Mr. Dewey.
Evan Seltzer, the
Evan
legend Evan
Seltzer.
Seltzer. Man, wreaked havoc on the Raccoon River Conference.
He was fun to watch. I mean, I was probably a half stalker back then. Like, I had no business communicating with Evan Seltzer via Facebook, but some of the stuff he was doing mileage wise on the elliptical, like, that dude was a run junkie. And there's a reason why that school record is still his, and it's going to be a hard one to take down.
For sure. It's a good town. Very, very beautiful area. A lot of trees. You get down there in the fall as the leaves start to change color. It's a nice little town. Good Mexican restaurant there on the square as well. So good stuff. Thank you, Coach Thompson, for sending that in. We'll have another one up next week. I've got 2 in the waiting room, and we're still awaiting our other rack coming back from Amazon. So, all right, let's head up to Minneapolis.
Yeah, man. Should we start with the girls' championship race?
Yes.
All right. So very cool that Pella made the trek up. In the championship race, Pella Dutch takes second place. I know, was it last year or 2 years ago? We had Dowling, the Dowling boys win. So this is an elite field of competition, and there's 45 schools in the championship race. Pella just has over 600 students, and the team that got first, Wyzetta, has over 3,000 kids at their school. So just put that in perspective. Like, we talk about Pella competing in our 4A. They went up against some of the best, took second place. They beat some ranked teams in the region, but they beat them by quite a bit. Sioux Falls Christian was in within like a 30-point gap, but fourth place was nearly 100 points back. And I know in a huge meet like that, points can add up very quickly. And just to throw this out there, an eighth grader won the championship race on the girls' side in 1758. We all know how tough that course is, but what a meet for Pella up in Minneapolis.
Very impressive, and such great competition. And people, I think we say this every year on the show, people don't, unless you've been there, and I've ran on that course before in college, it is one of the most difficult courses that you're going to see. And I've seen comparisons of a minute to a minute and a half to the normal course that we're running here in Iowa, minus those smaller ones. Maybe there's outliers that are on difficult courses that we do see pop up from time to time. But we had an email get sent in that had a very cool comparison from Griak to the Iowa State course and what those kids ran at Iowa State compared to Griak, and it was almost a minute and a half difference, give or take.
Right.
So I think you throw those times out from the Iowa kids at least and look at places and, well represented there with Charlie Gall, Farabee in her first big race where she was tested. And then this freshman from DCG, Hydrokin, all in the top 25. No Piper Meshley for Dallas Center Grimes, and I bet she'll be back here shortly for DCG. But a good race for Pella, a really good race for Pella, for them to go up there and get second with
Yes.
several regionally ranked teams and representing Iowa to that extent is very impressive. And hats off to the Dutch and their coaching staff.
Yeah. 4 in the top 40 up there. That's
Solid.
impressive.
How about the boys?
Yeah, boys was maybe a little more depth on the boys' side from the Iowa perspective. Individually, 6 boys in the top 13, 7 in the top 18, with Decker of Liberty being the top Iowan in third place. We also had Blake, Merrick, Vokes, Tallman, Squires, and Deke of Dowling all in the top 18 up there. So, just the depth on the boys' side in Iowa. We're going to talk about the 2026 class here in a little bit, but just to have that many kids in a big meet like this near the front of the race. And team-wise, you got Cedar Falls in 4th, Gilbert in 5th, and Dowling in 7th. Again, 45 teams. I'm very curious what this would look like in a 15-team field. I know we've done our cross-country ratings predict or forecast, but we talked a little bit about how quickly points can add up. And, Gilbert's top 3, very, very solid. Their points obviously added up at 4 and 5 in a meet like this. There's probably a kid every 0.25 seconds finishing for the, if you think about it. So, and again, Gilbert, like Pella, they only got 400 kids. So to go up to a meet like this with some big, big schools and finish 5th, very impressive for them, Cedar Falls and Dowling. Non-championship race, I know the Forest City squad was up there. Their boys got 5th in their race, only 1 point out of 4th. And that race, if you looked at the school sizes compared to Forest City, they did not belong enrollment rise. A lot of those schools were 2,000 or more kids. So cool experience for Forest City too. A lot of small schools don't get to make trips like that. So we talk about the performance side of it, but I really hope too, kids there's probably kids, they're not going to remember what place they got, what time they ran. They're going to remember just the experience with their team in general and that's what cross country is about. And very cool to see so many Iowa teams make that trip.
Absolutely. Down in Pella at the 20th annual Heartland Classic, and this was a uh, very impressive competition from the start up in the front, with Waukee Northwest winning the 2025 Heartland Classic. You talk about Griak being a large meet, more regional flavor there with multiple states represented. This one, a little bit more Iowa based, all classes represented here in Pella, a couple of out of state schools as well. But it was Waukee Northwest, the Wolves, dominant in this meet. This is the team that we knew, well, we didn't know, but we thought we would maybe see at some point this year. They finally had everyone healthy, and they were up against number 3 City High. No, excuse me, City High. No, DCG was 3.
Yep.
City High was ahead of Northwest coming into this meet, and Northwest dominated the Little Hawks. Lainey Sundit running extremely well. A fabulous freshman. She wasn't on our fab freshman list, Kyle, entering the season. I think she's making a case for that now. But the Wolves put 4 girls inside the scoring top 10, and that's usually an automatic recipe for a victory. City High, led by Abigail Burns, Grace Hammond. Grace Hammond. Both those two, Burns and Hammond, both ran very well for the Little Hawks. It was just Northwest pack was just too much for them to handle, with Northwest putting all 7 in front of the Little Hawks' 4th runner. Then that big drop off that we've seen all year in the CIML and around, the MVC between these schools. Waukee this time gets the advantage, and we said it every week. Waukee, Norwalk, Prairie, Valley, they all kind of interchange. This week it was Waukee getting 3rd place with 153 points. Another thing to point out here, Kyle, Izzy Harden led this one from the gun. She had it started out in the lead and expanded that lead throughout the race. And then over about the last quarter mile, Lainey Sundit closed quickly on Harden. I think if there was another 100 meters, Sundit might have been able to catch her. But Izzy Harden, we're going to talk about her in the 2026 rankings. From Maquoketa, she is having a phenomenal season for them. Just lights out every meet. Burns was in 2nd most of the race as well, so she's having a great year for City High. Medetsky's off to a great start. She was 4th. Then another name I wanted to point out there from Linmar, one we haven't said yet, Haley Kozlowski of Linmar. The Lions running well for them. So overall, a great race there on the girls' side. Anything to add on the girls before we head over to the boys?
Just DMC winner set. That meet, it's so many good 4A ranked
Yep.
teams, 3A teams, and it can be a big. There's some 2A ranked teams too, but it can be a big drop. So winner set and DMC on the girls' side, we're pretty close, 16 points, I think. So, and then Ballard also in that field. But no, let's go to the boys.
On the boys' side, we saw a meet record from Quentin Nauman of West Dubuque. And I wasn't at this meet, Kyle, but a coach told me this might have been one of the greatest high school races he has seen in person between these 3 standout Iowa athletes. Quentin Nauman of West Dubuque, Kanan Dunham of Pella, and Preston Johnson of the Marshalltown Bobcats. This coach described just a whole nother level, and there's some really good runners behind these guys too. But these 3 went out and they got after it right off the start. Kanan Dunham actually led this one for 2 miles roughly, and then Quentin Nauman put it in the final gear and ran away with it there with a 10-second victory. Kanan Dunham, excellent race for Pella. And then Preston Johnson is having just a marvelous junior campaign for the Bobcats. Very impressive. 3 guys with awesome runners behind them. Separating like this is something that I wish I was there.
Yeah, I definitely am putting this meet on our radar for next year to maybe send the Blue Jays too. I saw a video too of Dunham right to the lead. I don't want to say Gilbert was a bad performance by him by any means, but this was I don't want to say bounce back performance either, but this was a great race from Dunham. Again on his home course, maybe for one of the final times. We'll see. I
Quite
know the
possibly.
qualifier is not held at that course, but still just an awesome race for him. And that top three is just crazy.
Dunham came in with a 15:32 from last year at Heartland, so that shows you the improvement he made in a year. That course record was set by Juan Gonzalez of Fremont, Nebraska at 15:05, and that was broke this year by Quentin Nauman of
They'll
Epworth,
be
West
teammates at
Virginia.
Oregon, right?
I believe so. On the team side, this one coming in, it looked like it was City High coming in as the favorite. Cedar Rapids Prairie steals the show. Cole Carrizales of the Prairie Hawks, 5th. Kyle Johnson, 7th in that scoring lineup. They put together a full 5 this time. We wondered where their 4th and 5th would line up in a meet like this. They did just enough to get through and give the Prairie Hawks a huge victory at the Heartland Classic, and I know you'll go through them at the Monday Move, but second place, DCG, Dallas Center Grimes. I called it last week. If they could get healthy, they're going to be right there in the mix for a trophy in 4A, and here they are, Kyle.
You called it. I'll be honest, I don't think I believed you, when you said that how good this team would be. I'll eat my crow. You were spot on with this team. So kudos to you and kudos to the Mustangs for an outstanding meet on Saturday morning.
Just a really, really strong performance. Harper Guessman, the senior, leads them, but it was Graham Ibeline and his return to the lineup that really fueled this Mustang performance. Waukee Northwest, the Wolves seem to always start to put things together, Kyle, at this time of the year under head coach Terry Nielsen, and they did it again. A third-place finish, 118 points, a very strong pack there. What would be that? About a 30-second spread, 1-5. Things are looking brighter now for the Wolves. City High came in, the highest ranked team. They get 4th in this one. Still, nothing to really be upset about other than they didn't get the victory. A lot of season left. They're still in the mix there, 20 or so points back of the lead. So great meet there, Kyle. Another thing to point out, Riverside came over in 1A. Had a really good showing, getting 12th there. Excellent performance. And I have a little feature on Riverside next week on the Exchange Zone that everyone's not going to want to miss. And then Pella, the host, there at 7th as a 3A school with 208 points. Anything else there before we move on?
No, you covered it well.
All right. Moving on here on the Exchange Zone, we're going to go to the Monday Move.
You should make people guess the mascots in the chat.
Let's do that. Can anyone get all 5 right? I feel like we need to hand out an award or something, but shipping's hard these days. Anyone? All right, we'll work from the if we start, we'll give it away. But we got to get going.
Yep. We'll just start in order left to right. Let's start with our MOC Floyd Valley girls. They pull an upset over number 8 Harlan. They're currently number 10. Look for them to slide up in the rankings Monday.
I hope this is the right mascot for this next one. I think it is.
I think it might be an old Simpson College logo, but no, it is Sioux Central, currently ranked number 20, and they pull the upset on number 12 Sibley O. Cheaton in Class 1A.
Sibley O. The Orabs.
Fort Madison boys, they had a nice victory at Tim Lamb with 38 points. I could see them sliding up into the top 13, 14 maybe in Class 3A on the boys' side. And then we got the 2 we just talked about at Heartland, the Cedar Rapids Prairie boys and the DCG boys, currently ranked 6 and 11. They took down number 3, number 5, number 7, and number 8. Look for some major shakeups on the Class 4A boys side tomorrow.
A lot of shakeups. Welcome to the zone.
Welcome to the zone, Marvin Mexicano.
Oh, this is your guy. You've seen him run a couple times.
Man, he looked strong at
the
Ballard.
Polar Bears.
not often Des Moines North gets a shout out on the IETC Exchange Zone. The sophomore wins the Ballard meet, took it from the gun, and led from start to finish with the victory there. Just outstanding performance for him. And another welcome to the zone, just a couple fellas down, is the guy who got second. I'll let you mention him here in a minute. But then we got Linus McRoberts of City High, fourth at Heartland, leading the way for the Little Hawks.
Hey, Kyle, this Marvin Mexicano Barjana, he is the real deal. That was a legit course at Ballard. I know your team ran there. That time on a day where it was extremely hot and humid, the girls' times with some excellent runners were not the fastest. I'm very impressed with him. He's going to have a chance to go not only get to the state meet, but do some damage up there.
Yeah, 1650 on that course. And we called out Ballard a year or two ago about not having a lead cart and kids being able to cut the course. They had a lead cart, Tim Van Loo in the driver's seat. They had cones down so you couldn't cut. So Ballard, good job hosting
Brock's
that
giggling.
meet.
You probably know all these people, Brock.
Oh, yeah.
Brock's a big Ballard guy.
He is. That's right. Tim's a good dude too. So awesome job, Ballard. Home meet Monday. And the athletic training staff, there was a lady next to me looking around. She's like, who runs this? Who can I thank? And I'm like, I'm with you. This crew did an outstanding job. There was lots of kids hurting after the race. So great meet, Ballard.
Cadel Connell. Cadel, that is a tongue twister. Cadel Connor. Say that 3 times in a row from Grinnell. How about this for a stat? Runner-up in all 3 races this year, Williamsburg, Grinnell, and South Tama. That's pretty impressive there for Cadel Connell of Grinnell. Ryler Hansen, the surging sophomore from Bondurant. Farrar, sorry, I'll add Farrar, even though I'm pretty much all Bondurant. I'm team Bondurant / the Farrar. Same with DC Grimes / the Dallas Center and just go Grimes. But I'll give you I know it affects you when Bound leaves off Farrar on your weekly rankings, so I'll add Farrar for now. But here's a stat: 4th, 2nd, 1st, and 2nd in 4 meets. So 4 races, 4 top 4 finishes. That includes the Johnston Sunrise meet with several really highly ranked 4A runners. So just a tremendous story there for the Blue Jays. And then Kendall Landstrom. Kyle, it is remarkable that the number 1 ranked team in Mid-Prairie, we have not mentioned an individual from the Prairie Hawk. Is it the Prairie Hawks? The GOAT? No. Something Hawks. Mid-Prairie. Anyways, let's backtrack a little bit on Mid-Prairie. Coach Hostetler, you have an email in your inbox. If someone can get that message to Coach Hostetler, that would be great. You have an email in your mailbox. Great. But Kendall Landstrom is the lead runner for this number 1 Mid-Prairie team, and they are an overwhelming favorite in Class 2A. They're going to run away with this 2A title, Kyle. If we haven't locked them up already, I'm going to do it tonight. I just don't see anyone that can contend with them in 2A. But Kendall Landstrom's having a great year. 4th, 2nd for Mid-Prairie.
Awesome.
The Golden Hawks is the mascot. Thank you, Brock. All righty. Let's go to heating up. And it is getting hot for these athletes. I feel like we needed a song for this. I say that every week. It's on fire. Anyways, remarkable because we haven't mentioned some of these kids already this year on the Exchange Zone. It shows the depth of the seniors, especially. Not all of these are seniors, but most of them are. But let's start with Grace Dorjahan of Grundy Center. She won at South Tama this past week, Kyle. She's a 3-year state qualifier, a 2:14 800 PR, 3rd in Class 2A in that 800 last spring for the senior from Grundy Center. Next up, we've got Lauren Hillsland of North Iowa Buffalo. She's won 2 of her 3 races this year, and she was runner-up in the other, 15th, a deck performer last year in 1A for North Iowa Buffalo Center senior Lauren Hillsland. Next up, there isn't a runner that is on a better path right now in Northwest Iowa than this one. Natalie Anderson of MOC Floyd Valley, undefeated, Kyle, on the season. She has not lost a race yet, coming off a huge win at Storm Lake over a very talented Molly Isaacson of Sioux Center. Keep in mind, she was 9th in 3A last year. We haven't talked enough about Natalie, Kyle. She is tremendous right now and running so well for that team that you mentioned in the Monday move. Next up, we've got Tyra Schupbach of West Bend Mallard. She's won 3 of her 4 races this year. Get this stat. She was 11th last year and 15th in 2023, so she's got a chance to be a 3-time All-State athlete, coming off a big win at the Chris Smith Invite this past week, and she was 3rd in the 1A 3K in 2025 for the senior from West Bend Mallard. Next up, we've got Ellie Blevins. This is one I've gotten to see a couple times up close for the Centennial Jaguars. 1911 on a very slow course at West Des Moines Valley Tuesday. She's been in the top 4 of every race this year for the Jaguars, and just a breakout season for a junior. She's a junior from Centennial. McKenna Montgomery. Kyle, you and I were talking about her earlier today on the phone as we were getting prepped for this one. 1821 at Ottumwa, revenging her only loss of the year was to Chloe Glosser. She revenged that loss on Saturday night with a huge win over Chloe Glosser of Pekin. I'm telling you, Kyle, 3rd last year, 2nd in 2023, and 12th in 2022. She's got a chance to be a 4-time All-Stater for Albia. What do you think of this young lady from Albia?
I mean, just that performance alone, we saw what Glosser did up at Luther in the season she's having. I believe is committed. Glosser has committed to Drake. So, man, this was a big week for her. If there was an individual Monday mover, I know she's already high up in the rankings, but there'd be a beyond heating up for McKenna Montgomery.
Here's one
on
that
fire.
Yeah, she's on fire. Here's one that you see often out of Carlisle, Kale Streeter. I believe a soccer player in the spring. 22nd win over Isaac Rankin of Knoxville, another great senior in this class. He broke the Carlisle school record last week at the Gilbert meet, 10th last year in 3A. He'll look to improve upon that All-State finish. Your thoughts on Kale Streeter?
He's had a great last couple of weeks. Just seems to be turning it on at the right time. He's going to continue that momentum as we get to the postseason. He's going to be a contender for a top spot on the deck. We obviously the top 6 are very, very good. I could see him being a player maybe just outside that top 6.
Avery Rump of Fort Madison, a name we've said many years on the Exchange Zone. She had an excellent showing at the Tim Lamb meet. She's won 3 races this year with only a loss to the young freshman from Mount Pleasant, Fedler, by 19 seconds. A 10:22 5th place finish in the 3A 3K and a 3-time state track meet medalist for the Bloodhounds, senior now in Avery Rump. David Nichols of Earlham, he's held his own at the Gilbert meet at 15:52. Also a 10-second loss to Jack Crossland at the Johnston meet to start the year. And rounding out this one here is Lauren Krogman of Starmont. Big win at her home meet at Starmont this past week. Her first win of the year. She was 7th last year and 6th in 2023. 4-time state track and field medalist. Kyle, it is just remarkable that every week we keep introducing these people, or these athletes, not people, these athletes that are doing incredible things. And we haven't even mentioned some of these girls of multiple year medalists. And here they are
Right.
this week.
That's the beauty of the sport, kids can just it seems like they can turn it on at the right time, lay low for a while and then the light clicks and, this doesn't just happen. These kids obviously have put in some hard work. and why they are on the Heating Up feature. Great segment there, Dewey.
Well, while we're talking about some of these seniors, let's introduce, and I'm going to do something on social media this week in addition to this to really spread the word about this senior class, because we have a lot of colleges that follow our Instagram account, deservingly so, at the IATC from all over the country. And I want to make sure that we get these names out. And there's more than 15. We cut it at 15 for now. We might do something with the 27 class as well in the next couple weeks. Probably won't go lower than that. But Kyle, get us started here with the top 15 IATC Exchange Zone podcast, boys recruiting class of 2026.
We need like a drum roll for the graphic. Man, this is just
a list?
15 outstanding individuals, and to not be on this list, it's no slight by any means. Starting at 15, Cohen Mole, obviously he's had a strong start to his season for the Jaguars. They're ranked number 5, might drop a little bit this week, but Kiefer Barnes leading Indianola. Again, we've seen what they're capable of this season. I'm scared to know what they're going to do at their next meet. It seems like they continue to get better and better every week, but people can read the list here. I'm sure we'll get comments. This person's missing. This person should be above this person. This person just beat this person. And that's what it's about. But these 15 individuals here are all, I would say, confidently going to run at the collegiate level, and deservedly so. And there's got to be 50 more guys below this that belong running at the collegiate level. So, Vokes just had a great race up at Griak. AJ Wiley, I believe, won the Cedar Falls meet. Merrick had a good race up at Griak. Dunham on his home course. 10 Pass has been hiding a little bit this year, maybe. I think he's only raced just the once up at Gilbert. Is that right? Or did he race again after that? But, massive performance from him in his first meet. Like Indianola, I'm scared to see what he's going to do in his next meet. I'm trying to think where they would be going next off the top of my head, but I can't.
Yeah, I don't know. In the chat, good one there. Just off the list, literally, are the duo from Lake Mills, Thompson and Rogney. Just a precursor how we came up with this. This is also including track and field. All right, so it's not just cross country. We're looking at most of these cross country athletes, when they go to college, they're going to run cross country, but they're also going to need to run track. Very rarely, unless it's a cross country only program, are they not going to run track and field. So some of those athletes maybe don't have the track and field times as they do in cross country. And that's maybe why, and I'm not saying that of the Lake Mills duo there, because they had a great track and field season, but that was factored in. More so the 15 and the 16 and the 3K and the 3200. We did look at the 800 a little bit for that foot speed component, but mostly we're looking at that 3K, 15, 5K option there. So,
and
Kyle,
only one is committed, right? That I can think of off the top of my head.
I believe so. I believe that's right from what I've seen. And
yes.
My goal is as we, by the end of this season, as we get to the first signing period, maybe we'll put the college logo there to the right of this as we start to fill out this senior class and where they're going. But excellent class, deep and represented from all classes. I mean, we've got 1A, we've got 2A, 3A, 4A here on this list, and going to be exciting to see how this fall finishes along with the spring. Anything else there?
No, I'm
we'll do a little feature on social media too.
Yep.
What were you going to say, Kyle? Sorry, I cut you off.
I think we're ready for the other gender.
It is a little weird you're not here.
I know.
Brock, doesn't
my wife is.
He looks a little happier at home.
My wife is me. I don't know. Maybe less nervous. I don't know. Maybe I'm more nervous in the studio.
Yeah.
No.
It's weird not having someone in here.
Just you alone with your thoughts. Well, Brock's there.
Yeah, Brock and I are here having a great night. All right, let's go to the girls. This is equally as deep and exciting. Holy cow. And several of these girls have actually committed, but I'm not sure exactly all of them, so I'm not going to call specific names out yet. But like we said, we'll wait until we get closer to that first signing period. But here's the list. We've mentioned a lot of these kids already. I do want to point out some of the ones we haven't mentioned. How about starting there at 15 with Claire, Zweib? I'm going to go with Zweibhomer of Riceville. That might be the first Riceville shout out in the history of the Exchange Zone. But Claire Zweibholder of Riceville. Let's get someone to get Claire to see this. But she's got a tremendous career so far in cross country and track and field. She's a place winner in track and field and having a great cross country season so far for Riceville. Meredith Gentry, want to point her out from Des Moines Roosevelt. She hasn't raced since early September, but I see her a lot the track and field season for the riders. Great 800 runner. She's a 2:14 half miler, low 4:40, 15. Had a nice first race in cross country. CrossCountryRatings.com has her still in the top 10, I think, individually for Gentry of Roseville. Carson Oberender of Martinsdale St. Mary's having a tremendous season there in Class 1A. Very strong runner in track and field as well, and just improving every season, it seems like, for the senior from Martinsdale. Ellie Wharton. How about Ellie Wharton of Johnston? You know, Woodley gets a lot of the attention for the Dragons, but Ellie Wharton, or it might be L Wharton, actually. Someone, I'm sorry if we mess these up. There's so many names we have to prepare for every week. But she's had a great career, Kyle. Just so strong and a steady runner for them on their 4x8s, low 440, 1500 runner. She's ranked inside the top 12 in the 4A field right now in cross country. Scarlett Burns of Osage having a great year. We mentioned her a couple weeks back. Abigail Burns, Chesterman, Woodley, Medetzky, and then all the way up to those ones that we've talked about all year long. Kyle, just like the boys, your thoughts on this girls class and just the overall depth in the 26 class?
I think starting, you mentioned it with, involvement of all classes, 1A, 2A, all the way down. So, you got Riceville, West Bend, Mallard, just the parity amongst some of the classes. And then also, having a top 2 recruit on our list from Class 1A with Lily Denton, and someone that we, talked about didn't do part of the running sport until just recently. So a lot of potential there. Chloe Glosser has taken off this season tremendously. Montgomery, same thing. I know they just had the race together, but this is it just seems like the Iowa recruiting classes get deeper and deeper every year. I was, when I was talking with Coach Thompson today about, Evan Seltzer, and I was just thinking, man, what if some of those guys, even, before that, like Kyle Ewell or, Aaron Stockstill or whoever, could race at this time with some of these kids and some of the times that they might be dropping. It's, that was going through my head today. And it's just a credit to a lot of the hard work that these kids and their coaches have put in to get them to this point. So just a stellar list of 15 right here.
For sure. And just a reminder, this is just for seniors this year. And that's why it makes up the 2026 class. And certainly, Silas Gann of Forest City was mentioned there in the comments. There's so many runners that, we had to leave off this list and still have an opportunity to move up, as that's the neat thing about this sport compared to like basketball. Sometimes when those rankings come out, it's like, how do you keep moving up without traveling all over the country and paying a lot of money to do it? In cross country and track and field, the stopwatch moves you up or
That's
down.
right.
So it's pretty cool about our sport. All right. It's time for the famous Wagner quick hits. And he has dwindled his list down pretty good amount from where it started.
I think I deleted about 13. Just I'll fly through these. Martinsdale girls didn't race their 3 or 5 this week, so if rankings, obviously don't want to factor too much into the rankings. They're a great team. I think Newton girls had a really good meet, just finishing 9 back of number 14 Williamsburg. CPU number 16, they beat number 17 Xavier by 30, and we're only 11 back of Solon, I believe. A great race from the Clear Creek Amana boys, taking down number 1 in Denver in 2A by 14 points. Tipton boys, number 15, upset Jessup, number 12 by 2. I thought the Wahlert girls had a nice rank. They're unranked in 3A, but beat number 8, 12, and 18 in Class 2A. And then finally, 2 more. I thought the MFL Marmat girls had a good race at Central Cater, only 8 back of South Wynn. And then a junior high surprise. I don't often look through the junior high results too much during the season. I think I was looking at maybe the our Independence meet and saw that we have Tori Gomez of Denver getting a massive victory there. It's a 1.5 mile race, ran 9:07. So potential relation to Jesse out of Denver, but just an impressive performance there from a junior high athlete. I think that's it for my quick hits.
Up in Cedar Falls at the Rick Engel Classic, a lot of squads not at full strength. I have so much respect for both programs at Cedar Falls. However, and I'm not attacking them, I don't think I've seen a host school not compete in their home meet.
Or did they at least run I didn't see. Did they run they didn't run any varsity team? They just run them in the JV race? I can't remember.
I'm not sure. I don't think. Well, I know their varsities didn't run.
Right, yeah. I just didn't know if they bumped the
Let me
next
see.
7 up
I'm gonna
to
pull it up
run in the
here.
varsity race. I can't remember.
I don't know. Let me see here. They did fill a varsity lineup in the girls for sure. Boys wise, they did as well, but they were way back.
Yep.
That's a tough one, Kyle. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? It's tough because this meet's 40 years old. So
right.
Yeah, 40 years ago we weren't doing the Heartlands, maybe not the Griaks, where teams were traveling like this, so I get it.
Right. Yeah. You have no idea when they decided to make the decision to go up to Griak, if it was a year ago or if it was a couple months ago. The big thing in that is, I guess I would let the schools know that we wouldn't be running our lineup, but it's hard for me to criticize, I guess, a coach's decision. You don't know a lot of the factors that go into it, but yes, goofy to not race full lineup on your home meet. I want to say maybe, well, Valley did it their home meet this week, but either way, take Cedar Falls out of it. Still some good performances, especially individually on the girls' side.
Yeah, last year Cedar Falls did win this meet. So this must be the first year that they decided to do this. It's tricky. I mean, what had happened at Valley is teams just have stopped coming.
Right.
I remember Waukee used to have a really quality meet as well in the 2010 to 2020 range. You remember going to that, don't you? When you were at Ames. Or maybe you came and watched. But anyways, they just stopped having it because teams just couldn't come anymore because of the way these weekend meets set up. So they just canceled the meet. Stinks because it's 40th annual. And the Tom Carpent at Valley is a very historic meet.
Right.
So puts these schools in a tough position. Puts the visiting teams in a tough position because they want to come and race the defending champions. That's why you sign up to go to a meet like this, right?
Right.
I mean, I would assume.
And
So,
even look
yeah.
at like the DCG meet. That's not what it used to be. It is a lot of
Ballard.
smaller schools. Ballard used to be a 4-class meet, and how that was happening, I have no idea, because it seems like mass chaos with only 2 classes there. But you're right, and I guess I don't have an answer for you, but
Yeah. Tricky, and it's just one of those deals that as our sport continues to evolve, changes will happen and things won't look the same, and hopefully maybe with a different rollback that sets up sometimes, and Griak is up in the air with the selling of the course, that they're not gonna be able to run at that course anymore. The Division 1 meet there has completely fallen to shambles, at
mhm,
Griak. It wasn't just more than 5 years ago that Iowa State and some of the big schools from around the country were running at Griak. They no longer go there,
no.
because they wanna have a flat as a pancake course and get fast times and only run twice before the conference meet. So, things are just changing, and we're changing as high schools as well. But anyways, at that meet, Kyle, real quickly, there was some excellent performances, and A.J. Wiley, what a year he's having for Bettendorf. He gets the win here at Cedar Falls, and I've been to this course. It is not an easy course. It's a beautiful course through the parks and around some baseball complex, softball complex. Not a fast course. 15:42 for Wiley. His teammate Andrew Heaton was second at 15:49. Ethan Cheney of Linmar's having a great year for the Lions as well. Those three separated considerably from the field. As the teams go, Bettendorf boys win over a good performance from Dubuque Senior as well. On the girls' side, this one wasn't quite as stacked as the boys' meet. Dubuque Senior looked good though. They
They did.
continue to get better. Chesterman, Kessler had a great race there as their number 2, and Brielle Beckham as well as their third runner. But they got an easy win here over Davenport Central, 32-60. Individually, it was Joe Lee Sullivan over Chesterman by about 20 seconds, 22 seconds to be exact. Great win again for the sophomore from Davenport Central. Anything else there in that Rick Engel?
Nope.
And I was looking back. Sorry. I'm looking back at last year's Cedar Falls meet, and the winning time was Quentin Nauman at 15:29, Merrick 15:34. It tells you where Wiley's at and the level that he's running at right now, Kyle.
Right.
I mean, that's by himself with maybe a teammate pushing him. That's pretty impressive.
Yes, it
All
is.
right. I think we're about done. What do
Yeah,
you
what do
got
we got
this
on?
week?
What's that?
What do you have this week?
Got some good meets again this week, I think, and even if it's not a big meet, there's some sneaky battles out there. Indianola is always a good meet. Lots of teams. Anamosa, I think, is one that attracts a lot of those 2A, 3A schools like Fort Madison, Solon, Tipton, Monticello, and some smaller ones like Cascade, Mac Valley, Anamosa, Owine. Solon's got a good meet with Mount Vernon, Lisbon, Tipton, Williamsburg. At PCM, we'll see PCM versus Pella Christian. Owine, we get Owine versus Denver.
Mhm.
At Denver, West Marshall will be a good one with number 1 Linville Sully, number 6 Linville Sully in 1A, number 8 Collins Maxwell, and then the host 2A, number 5 West Marshall. Curious if we'll see ADM versus Grinnell at Newton. That's a matchup that I'm definitely looking forward to see how those two stack up. Earlham versus Martinsdale St. Mary's at Creston. And then we get number 3 Sumner Fred versus number 7 Grundy Center and 2A Jessup, who is 8 at Grundy Center. And then the big meet of the week, I think, is the Jim Boughton.
Oh, yeah. Hey, if they all run,
Yep.
we could see Nauman, Decker, who was the highest finisher at the Griak meet. He's just a junior. That's why we haven't talked much about him tonight there with those rankings. But Keegan Decker, is there anyone? I mean, it's hard to say. Is there anyone running better than him when we have Nauman and Dunham and Johnson going at it down at Pella this week? But Kyle, Decker is just almost unstoppable right now, it seems like, for the Liberty Lightning Bolts.
Yeah, and I'm curious too if this will be a lot smaller meet than Griak. So
And Merrick will be
right,
there, and AJ Wiley. We'll get a nice little test here with those 3 there.
right. Yep. So I think a smaller meet, and Naman is probably the heavy favorite. So curious to see how that plays out with him and those other three in this meet. And
Naman's
girl,
probably putting on repeat that Decker is unstoppable right now. Did I feel some fire there maybe?
that'll be an Instagram reel before we know it.
Could be. But they're all so respectful to each other. That's what also makes these kids so special in this class is yes, they have rivalries that they see with Nauman and Dunham, but from everything I've heard, they're very friendly. They get along. Uh, kind of like last week. They have a great respect for each other. When they're on the course, they want to beat each other, but I think all in all, they really respect and love each other outside of the course, which is great to see when you have this talent going against each other each week.
Exactly. And then the girls' side, you could get Gall and Nikia Olivier, Chesterman, Sullivan, Burns, Millage. So individual on the girls' side, the Boughton meet's going to be a great one too, and team-wise. But
Yeah,
Boughton going to be a good meet.
Boughton's going to be a good meet. I know the girls' union's heading up there to Dubuque to take a look at that one on Thursday. But PV on the girls' side and City High will be a nice little matchup that I'm excited to see. On the boys' side, what are you thinking there? Probably City High in a bounce back meet. Is Prairie at this meet? I think they
I
usually
don't
go.
think Prairie is.
No? Okay.
I don't think so.
So it's
But
probably
probably Cedar
City.
Falls, City High.
Oh, shoot. Cedar Falls. Duh.
Yep.
Cedar
That's
Falls
probably
boys and City High boys.
right.
Be a good matchup there.
See if PV can sneak into that battle.
Yeah, and Dubuque Senior had a good meet this last week in Cedar Falls on both genders to see where they stack up. So that's great, Kyle. Good research there on those meets, and we'll have a chance to take a look at those next week. If you have a chance to send us video, please do. You can just send it to our Instagram account at IATC, or you can email it to bdewey@waukeeschools.org. Either way, pictures work great as well. But yeah, I agree in that chat. You know, let's throw some video. We got a TV show basically. So let's show some video and some highlights if we can. As always, subscribe to us, follow us. It would be much appreciated. We will be back next weekend here in studio. We've got some guests lined up coming in studio next weekend, which we're excited about. Some new uniforms to put up as well. We had it cleaned. We had the facility cleaned in here this past week. It looks great. We'll fix the cord with the microphone and we'll be up and running next weekend. Anything else, Kyle, before we sign off?
If anybody wants to bring a jersey to Roland's Story, that's where I'll be on Thursday.
Excuse me.
We need some more small school jerseys. We need like a 1A or a 2A jersey. So any Roland Story meet listeners, let's go. Get me your jersey on Thursday.
That sounds good. I will not be at Roland Story. I'm not going to be out at a meet this week. Just going to sit back and watch the results come in.
I got to see if I can steal a golf cart or something to scoot around.
For sure. All right, everyone. We thank you so much for tuning in to the Exchange Zone tonight. Download it and listen throughout the week as you travel across the state for your cross-country meets. And we will be back again with the mid-season episode, the halfway point of the cross-country 2025 season next week on the Exchange Zone. Have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you next weekend.